Hi, I'm Tehrina.
And I'm Joel Terry.
We're licensed therapists with 30 years of experience between us, here to help you build healthy relationships.
We do this by sharing with you the ABCs of lasting love: attachment, boundaries, and communication.
What if I told you that all of the healing work you've been doing won't matter if you keep making this one critical mistake? This is the final video in our series on healing anxious attachment, and we're going to share with you the most important truth. Understanding attachment styles isn't enough, because here's what happens to most people. They do the inner work, they understand their patterns, they learn all about anxious attachment, and then they go right back to dating the same unavailable people who triggered their anxiety in the first place.
And today, we're breaking that cycle once and for all. We're giving you the exact blueprint to not just understand a secure attachment, but to actually create it in your life with the right people.
If you've been following this series, you've learned all about anxious attachment, where it comes from, how it shows up in your relationships, and the healing work needed to start shifting those patterns. But this video is different because understanding attachment is one thing. Actually building secure, healthy relationships that last, that's where most people get stuck.
So if you've ever felt like you keep repeating the same unhealthy patterns, you understand your attachment style, but aren't sure how to apply it, or you're afraid of falling back into old habits with new people, then today's video is specifically for you, because healing isn't just about understanding attachment. It's about taking action toward the relationships you actually want.
Let's start with the biggest mistake we see people make after they've started healing anxious attachment. They assume that they can make an avoidant partner meet their needs. But here's what healing actually means. It's realizing that a secure relationship starts with who you choose. When you have anxious attachment, you're often drawn to people who feel familiar, people who are inconsistent, emotionally unavailable, or who keep you guessing. There's an intensity that feels like chemistry, but it's actually just your attachment system being activated. Healing means breaking that pattern by consciously choosing partners who support your security. Here's 4 signs to look for. 1, consistency. They don't play hot and cold or send mixed signals. Their words and actions align. Emotional availability. They show up, listen, and validate your feelings rather than dismissing them. Healthy communication. When issues come up, and they will, they're willing to talk through things instead of shutting down and disappearing. And mutual effort. You don't have to chase them or convince them of your worth. They meet you halfway. When you shift from trying to prove your worth to an avoidant partner to simply choosing the right partner from the start, everything changes.
Let's talk next about practicing secure behaviors. Even with the right partner, learning to behave in a secure way takes practice. Your anxious attachment patterns have been with you for years, possibly decades. So be patient with yourself as you learn new ways of showing up. Here's how to shift your behavior, from overanalyzing to trusting actions, instead of spiraling with thoughts like, what did that text mean? Why haven't they responded? Do they still like me? Practice saying to yourself, I'll trust the consistency they've shown over time, not base it on one message. If I need clarity, I can ask directly instead of assuming. From chasing to observing effort. Instead of asking, how can I make them like me more? What can I do to keep their interest? Start asking, are they showing up for me in a way that makes me feel safe and valued? Is the effort mutual? From over-attaching to staying grounded in reality. Instead of rushing in with, they're perfect, this must be love. I can already see our future together. Remind yourself, real connection is built over time, not in a rush. I'll enjoy getting to know them at a pace that feels secure for both of us. Acting securely means trusting that love should feel safe, not like a game you have to win.
Now let's talk about boundaries, because secure people aren't afraid to walk away from relationships that don't align with their needs. Boundaries aren't ultimatums or threats. They're simply statements about what you allow into your life. Some examples of boundaries when healing anxious attachment might be saying, I don't invest in relationships where I feel anxious more than I feel safe. If someone is inconsistent in how they show up, I won't make excuses for them. I trust that the right partner won't make me question my worth. Boundaries might feel uncomfortable at first if you're used to accepting crumbs of affection, but they're essential for creating secure attachment. This brings up the biggest game changer in healing anxious attachment: choosing different types of relationships altogether. Here's the truth. If you keep engaging with unavailable or inconsistent people, your brain will stay stuck in that same cycle. Healing requires making different choices, even when it feels uncomfortable at first.
So, how do you actually start choosing secure partners and friends? Here are 3 things to look for. 1, pay attention to patterns, not words. If someone says they care but their actions don't match, believe the pattern. 2, notice how you feel around them. Secure people leave you feeling safe and calm, not anxious and constantly checking your phone. 3, be willing to walk away. Healing means recognizing I'd rather be alone than in a relationship that makes me question my worth. The more you surround yourself with secure, consistent people, the easier it is to become secure yourself. Their stability becomes your new normal. Before we wrap up, I want to remind you that healing anxious attachment isn't about reaching a perfectly secure place and staying there forever. It's a process. Some days will be easier than others, and that's okay. So be patient with yourself. If you catch yourself overthinking, seeking reassurance, or feeling triggered, it doesn't mean you failed. It means you're human. The difference now is you have the tools. You know what secure looks like. You're making choices that move you in that direction every day. Healing anxious attachment isn't about fixing yourself so someone else will love you. It's about creating a life and relationships that actually make you feel secure.
If you've followed this entire series, we want to thank you. Building secure attachment is one of the most important journeys you can take, and we're honored to be a part of it. If you're just joining, you can find the entire Healing Anxious Attachment series linked in the description below. And now we want to hear from you. What's one step you're taking to create security in your relationships? Let us know in the comments. We love to see the community that's growing there. Subscribe and take care of your heart.
And remember, you are not alone. We're all in this
Together.